The market moves down as we head toward the end of the month. Are the bulls out for the summer? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so the market moved lower yesterday into our first major support zone, testing it again in that 52.70 region. Now the question is, can the bears actually follow through, or will the bulls close the month strongly? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, the market moving lower to test support. Let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the daily futures chart for the S&P 500, and I zoomed out to the daily today to give you a little bit of a broader view from this last peak at the middle of April, or at the top of beginning of April, into this peak here toward the end of May, and how we can count those and what we're looking at and what the structure should look like. Now, if you're looking for a much bigger view, I did a big picture update yesterday where I went over a much longer term view. Check out that video, and you can get a bigger picture update than this here. So this is the daily chart, and basically it's how you want to count this high. You can count it two different ways. We can count it as all of wave 3, with this being wave 4 and this being wave 5. Now, if that's the case, that's a continuation of the ending diagonal I spoke about yesterday that came off of the October 22 lows. Very overlapping structure, very corrective in nature all the way up, ABC structures for every wave, and that explains the corrective nature of this move up here. So you have very much overlap. You have an AB and then a C higher into that 5400 area. So that is the first way we can count it as a wave 5. The second way you can count it is this is the top over here, and we get what's called an expanding B wave. So this would be wave 5. And an expanding B wave, you have A and B. Okay, and B goes and makes a new high because we missed targets. We were supposed to hit 5350 to 5400 over here. We did not do that. So very often you can see a B wave go get those targets and then come down. So this would explain the overlapping corrective structure as well, where you have an A, B, C up. So they look basically exactly the same. Now, what's the difference, or how do we tell the difference? Well, it's on the decline, right? When the move starts to come back down, if it's an ABC, which it currently is, you have a pretty clear ABC structure being built from the top. If it's an ABC, which it currently is, it could morph into a diagonal. There are other things that can happen, but currently it's an ABC structure, okay? That's going to be more indicative of that wave 5 ending, because you would expect a corrective structure at that time. So when wave 5 ends, you would expect a bigger ABC down for the bigger correction, but that ABC down is broken up into smaller ABCs. So there's, you know, an ABC in here, and then an ABC that comes up there and makes up these bigger ABCs. So everything breaks down into smaller versions of itself, but off of a wave 5, you'd expect an overlapping corrective ABC structure. And so far, that, like I said, so far, that's what we've gotten off of the high. If we are talking about this as an expanded B wave up, then after B comes C, and C is an impulsive wave, so it's different. You would expect a 5-wave move down, where you get your initial move, you get a strong wave 3, and then a 5th wave, and then you get a bounce and continuation of the pattern from there. So the overall structure is going to tell us the difference between the overall structure of the pullback, I should say, or the drop, is going to tell us the difference between whether it's a wave 5 or whether it's an expanded B wave. Again, as of right now, you have a lot of overlap up here, so it's not very impulsive, but this could be a wave 1, and then you get wave 2, a 3, and these are all going to be 3-wave structures because it's a diagonal, and then you get a 4 back up into 1 territory, and then a 5th wave down, and then a sharp retrace, and then down. If you get something messy like this, then we can start talking about a leading diagonal off of the top and possibly seeing an impulsive move overall. But I don't count on diagonals. I don't trust that will play out. So right now it's a corrective structure. So it does lead toward me saying this is wave 5 of that bigger ending diagonal. And we're trying to end it, if we haven't already ended it, up around that 5400 area. So where we're at right now is a couple of potentials. Off of the high here, we have moved back down into our support box, this blue box at 5270. And right below that is also the 21 moving average. We use that all the time in my room as a barometer of health on many different charts and many different time frames. And they're just above that. That's 52.65. So I could give the box down to 52.65 as there's an added layer of support just under it. But break through that, and I do think you'll see some acceleration toward the 52.15 area. And then we'll see if they can bounce there and then continue lower, or if the bulls are able to fight back at that point. But anything 52.65 and above and a gap up tomorrow, I can see the bulls closing this at 5,400 in the month, in the week on Friday. So we're either looking for the bulls to hold 52.65 and drive it back to 5,400 pretty immediately, or if the bears can break down below the blue box and then accelerate through 52.65, that would be our next indication that potentially a top is in, and we'd be looking at a bigger move down at that time. So 52.65 is our level to watch tomorrow. Above that, and strength from the bulls, and I would look for them to end the week and month strong. Below that, and you may have a monthly and weekly reversal candle on your hands, pointing us down lower into our next support zones. And ultimately, that 5,100 area is where I want to see break right here. This low from May 3rd, that's the level we're looking for the market to break to give us a much more confident approach to this top being in. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, we're zoomed in a little bit on the NASDAQ, and the reason for that is I want to concentrate on this area up here because to me, this is kind of the tell of things that we are looking at. The bears can definitely push this lower. They can definitely come down and break these lows and test this blue box, but the NASDAQ is relatively strong in comparison to the ES, where the ES is already down testing its support level, where the NASDAQ is not. This tells me that the NASDAQ still wants to push higher. Doesn't mean it will, but it's telling me that this is more of a overlapping pullback than it is a breakdown. So overall, the idea was that this is going to move higher in an ABC anyway, and so we'd be looking for this kind of move. And as long as they're above this wave 4 low here at 18,621, we can see this B wave play out and then see higher. Below that, we would look for them to test this support box down here at 18,400. And then if they get through that, we could see more acceleration to the downside out of the NASDAQ. But for now, as it stands, where we are right now, the NASDAQ is just now breaking its low from today, just now getting back down there to try to break it, whereas the ES has broken through its low and made new lows and is testing its support box. So the NASDAQ looks stronger, and so it does make me a little bit skeptical that the bears are going to be able to follow through, especially heading into the end of the month. It doesn't mean they can't or won't, just gives me a little bit of a kind of feeling. So you have an A and a B in place. This B wave can come all the way down, even lower than this, but all the way down typically to this low. And then we look for C up toward that 19,100 area to complete. If the bears are able to follow through, they need to break this low from last Thursday at around that 18,618 area. Break through that, and then the bears can start to build some momentum to the downside. But otherwise, looking for the bulls to hold above this wave 4 low and push higher to end the week and month strongly. Again, this is kind of your breaking point for the move down. They break below that 18.6 area, and that is a problem for the bulls. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It will take you right over to the webpage. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it, become part of our trading team, interact with PT and I, and make sure it's for you before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our educational material. We have our beginners course and our advanced Elliott Wave course. In the advanced course, people are understanding the hard, difficult to navigate structures of the market, such as your double and triple threes, your diagonals, your advanced fib levels, your flats, triangles, all the different things that give people headaches and make it so the market is very difficult to understand. We go through what the pattern looks like, what the fib levels are. Then later on in the video, we continue on with how that works out, and then we get into the charts and show you an actual example of whatever topic we're on so that we can get into the chart and you can see what they look like on the chart and understand how these work. Now you can see on the screen that traders are loving this course, but if it's a little bit advanced or you're just getting started in this, we do have our Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. This course is helping real traders make real money and finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. It can be really difficult to understand why good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up. And that's because Elliott knew long ago that the news cycles didn't matter. He knew that key levels did and what happened when those key levels held and when they broke. This is a huge trading advantage over the rest of the market. Now, this course is 25 videos where I go over 3 parts: your introduction, where we go over your mindset, your emotion, the KISS method, and why Elliott Wave works. Then we go through your chart setup and tools, every tool you need to use along with Elliott Wave Theory and why and how to use it, and the Elliott Wave for Beginners area where I go through each of the waves, how to measure them, how to find the targets, how to understand them, know when they're failing, know when they're succeeding, the corrective depth theory, the theory of alternation, the pivot, everything you need to know to understand and make sense of an irrational market. Now, the really cool thing about both of these videos is if you want to get them for a discount, you can get the bundle pack and get both videos, which reduces this to a $30 cost. You get both of them for $177. But if you don't want to pay anything at all and you want them for free, you get them as part of signing up for either of our monthly rooms. So sign up for a room and you get all of our educational material for free. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get my real-time market updates, my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video. Today we went over a lot of different charts and why topping patterns are playing out on a lot of different stocks as well as indexes. It is an incredibly helpful video. People really love that part of the subscription. It's usually 30 to 40 minutes long, and I answer everyone's questions. And you also get the training material we just went over. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing in day trades. So we do trade quite often in my room. However, if you're looking for futures trading, individual stocks, income trading, and advanced trading, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, futures trading, his income method that's killing the market, as well as his reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes it. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures those trades that's so unique. Something you really have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account, trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we'd love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, the key takeaways for today. 52.65 is the key level. It looks like they're testing it here in the after hours with coming into that 21 moving average. And just below this blue support box, if they break through that cleanly, we can see a strong move and acceleration to the downside, and 52.15 comes into play next. However, if they can hold this area and give us a gap up and a move higher tomorrow, I would expect them to surge into the end of the week and end of the month to try to close the month strong toward that 5,400 area. Over on the NASDAQ, same type of setup where the NASDAQ is just a little stronger and showing us a little more strength up where it's at, whereas ES has already broken this low. NASDAQ is still well above it. So I can see strength in the market where the NASDAQ can hold and try to push toward that 19,100 area. However, a break below last week's low in that 18,600 area, and that should create some acceleration to the downside on the NASDAQ. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.